Share your audience, share your screen. Share entire screen. How's it going, everybody? This is the first live stream I am doing on my channel today. Sorry, it's taken a few minutes to get this up and going. I am going to be reading you guys some articles coming from Warnews 24/7. There's a lot of articles to go through today, so let's get right into the first one from Russia. It says Russia has released classified documents on what commitments NATO did not honor and why a major war is possible. There's a video. It says, in quotations, NATO has deceived us. What were its 3 commitments? And as you can see here, there are some classified documents. And the headliner, this is posted on the 3rd of May, 2024 at 3:04. It doesn't say if it was 3:04 p.m. or 3:04 a.m. Sorry about that. It says, at a pivotal time, the Kremlin released recently declassified documents relating to the NATO-Russia deal after the fall of the USSR and talks up to and including 2000. These documents were shown on Russian television RT. The excerpt can be watched below. Moscow gives a clear impression that Ukraine will only be the beginning if NATO does not compromise a fundamental issue. That is, if there is no return to the status quo of 1990. It raises 3 main issues that NATO has not respected: its non-expansion, its non-involvement in the post-Soviet space, and reduction of Europe's troop members, withdrawal of U.S. forces, anti-missile bases in Romania, Poland, and etc. Failure to comply with these 3 treaties justifies, for example, an attack on Finland or the Baltic states. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to be sending out some invites to this live stream. Just give me 1 second. I also want to make sure that the live stream is coming up right now. Give me 1 minute. All right, it says I've been live for 2 minutes. Hold on 1 second, everyone. I am going to be sharing this out real quick. I am going to be probably sharing this a second time. Give me 1 moment. How's it going, everybody? Thank you guys for being patient. This is my first live stream on the channel here. My computer is throttling up. Sounds like it is booting real well at the moment. Just give me 1 second, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm sending out about 5 invites right now to some people regarding this information. I know that they will appreciate it. I hope you guys have had a wonderfully safe and informed day as we go through all of these events in the world. It is starting to become an extremely scary place with everything going on at the moment. I don't really have much to say besides it is getting really scary in the world. We're going to be covering a lot of different news here today. We're going to be talking about Russia. We're also going to be talking about Ukraine and Iran and Israel. Probably a little bit about Syria, what's going on over in Syria. All right, hold on. I still have 1 more left. All right. This is the last one, guys, and I'll start getting right into these articles. Thank you so much for your patience. All right, thank you so much, guys. All right, so right back into the news, everybody. We are going to continue right where we left off. It says Moscow gives a clear impression that Ukraine will only be the beginning if NATO does not compromise on fundamental issues. That is, if there is no return to the status quo of 1990. They're pertaining to a bunch of treaties and documents that were signed in the 1990s from NATO. It raises three main issues that NATO has not respected. It's non-expansion, its non-involvement in the post-Soviet space and reduction of Europe's troop numbers, withdrawal of U.S. forces, anti-missile bases in Romania, Poland, etc. This is a big thing right here, guys. This is big right here. This is big. NATO has agreed to this, and they are violating this. This is a big thing. Failure to comply with these three treaties justifies, for example, an attack on Finland or Baltic seas, as we discussed. Why there? Because after Ukraine, NATO, through the Baltic states, directly threatens Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Kaliningrad. So it's the cause of World War III. What agreements did NATO not abide by? Saskia Taylor reveals to RT, when you make promises, you have to keep them, unless you're NATO, in which case a promise is just a few words in order. These documents, mostly indexes, describe the optimism in which the fledgling Russian state sat down at the table with the West in the early 90s. Top U.S. and NATO figures courted the Kremlin with talk of reducing nuclear weapons, promoting peacekeeping missions, joining councils, and welcoming Russia into a new Europe from the Urals to the Atlantic, which they did not uphold. NATO did not uphold this. They did not welcome Russia, and this is another reason that Putin is kind of pissed off. He went in and talked about this during the Tucker Carlson interview and stated that they have countless times applied for NATO, and each and every time they have literally just brushed off the shoulder, and they just continue antagonizing Russia. And if you guys are interested in that, I will leave a link to the Tucker Carlson interview down below. It says cooperation, inclusion, peace, partnership. It was the dawn of an age. By and large, NATO and the West went wild in making empty promises during the collapse of the Soviet Union for access to Russia's vast natural wealth. Let's be clear, we were told no NATO expansion, no involvement in the post-Soviet space, and fewer soldiers in Europe. So let's see what happened. Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, Macedonia joined NATO. This was followed by colored revolutions in Georgia, 2 colored revolutions in Ukraine, an attempted colored revolution in Belarus, and Kazakhstan, not to mention the 78-day NATO bombing of Yugoslavia. According to the reports, the United States Secretary of Defense had told us that he had never been put on the table. And then what happened? 425,000 NATO bombs were dropped, and an independent Kosovo was created. We got this first document here. It says, NATO, I want to assure you that we want stability. We are not going to interfere in Russia's internal affairs as we do in the affairs of other sovereign, the Commonwealth of Independent States. We will want to establish friendlier relations with the former Soviet republics. We would like to build new relations in Europe in which there are fewer weapons, fewer soldiers to ensure a stable future. Document 2, NATO. We agree that there is no intention to extend NATO's security zone farther east. Document 3, NATO, it is also important not to get the impression that the United States has narrow national interests in Bosnia. Our objectives there are twofold. The first is the prevention of hostilities in Bosnia and the non-proliferation of these hostilities beyond the borders of the former Yugoslavia or even the Balkans. The second is a reduction of violence against civilians. We are committed to reaching an agreement as soon as possible. We do not plan to use U.S. or NATO armed forces to resolve any military issue. And this is the video
promises made
that was
are promises kept.
On the Russian
unless you're
TV.
NATO, in which
Let's
case,
see what it says.
well, a promise is just a few words put together in a row. These documents, largely transcripts, detail the optimism with which a fledgling Russian state sat down at the table with the West in the early 1990s. Top US and NATO figures courted the Kremlin with talk of reducing nuclear arms, boosting peacekeeping missions, sitting on councils together, and welcoming Russia into a new Europe. From the Urals to the Atlantic, cooperation, inclusion, peace, partnership. It was the dawn of a new age.
I would like to state here very clearly that we need stability. We are not going to interfere in Russia's internal affairs, as well as the internal affairs of other sovereign member states of the CIS. We would like to establish most friendly relations with all the former Soviet republics. We would like to build new relations in Europe as well. In Europe, where there will be fewer weapons, fewer soldiers. In Europe, where a lasting future will be secured.
Generally, NATO and the West went big on handing out empty promises in the 90s, high on the collapse of the Soviet Union and the prospect of gaining cheap access to Russia's vast natural wealth. They said all kinds of things to calm any unease in Moscow.
We agreed that there is no intention to expand the NATO security zone further to the east.
So let's be very clear. No NATO expansion. No interference in the post-Soviet space, and fewer soldiers in Europe. Okay, well, let's see. Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic join NATO. Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia join NATO. Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, North Macedonia join NATO. A color revolution in Georgia. A color revolution in Ukraine twice. An attempt at a color revolution in Belarus and Kazakhstan, not to mention the 78-day straight bombing campaign of Yugoslavia, which apparently, according to the transcripts, the US Defense Secretary said was never on the cards.
It is also important that you do not get the impression that the United States has narrow national interests in Bosnia. Our goals there are twofold. The first is the prevention of hostilities in Bosnia, and more broadly, non-proliferation of those hostilities beyond the borders of the former Yugoslavia or even the Balkans.
Very interesting information.
The second is a decrease in violence against civilians. We are committed to achieving peace agreement as soon as possible. We do not plan to use American or NATO armed forces to solve any military issues.
What a load
and yet,
of shit.
Here we are, 415,000 bombs in a self-proclaimed independent Kosovo later. Yet, unbelievably, despite these revelations now unlocked and the scale of the deception coming to light, they still tried to gaslight us into thinking it's all in Russia's head.
Let me say again.
Here we go.
NATO poses no threat to Russia and seeks no confrontation with Russia.
NATO is a defensive alliance. We do not seek conflict with Russia.
Members joining NATO
look at this
guy. Not a threat to any nation. It never has been. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression.
Clown.
So, yes, with these decades of betrayal behind it, you might.
All right, that's enough of that guy. All right, guys, so on to the next article. Jeez. All right, so what else was posted today? Let's go to the next article today. It's all over for Kyiv. Russian generals checkmate with 3 moves and enter Kramatorsk. What a name. Phase B of the Russian Plan B begins. Russian Iron Fist beats out the heart of Ukrainians in the Donbass. Russian Supreme Military Command is amassing powerful armed forces and reserves in the Ohirintigo region. Both the British and Ukrainian speak of forces that are impossible to contain from Kyiv at the moment in Iron Fist. According to information, the Minister of Defense Shoigu was informed by the generals and the Chief of Defense Secretary Staff V. Gerasimov that as soon as Nova Alexandrova falls, the second phase of the Russian plan will begin with a rapid advance of Russian forces towards the 2 regions. It says also large-scale collapse of Ukrainian-Russian armies took Arkhangelsk, Netalvo, and attack Nova Alexandrovka. What a bunch of names. Approximately 8 kilometers north of Nova Alexandrovka passes the most important road, access, and logistics hubs of Ukrainian forces in Donbass. Pokrovsk, Konstantinkova. Oh man, probably plowed that, guys. Sorry. These words are absolutely insane. As you can see in the map, Russian forces can attack either Pokrovsk, Konstantinkova, Tinovka were both Ukrainian fortresses from Nova Alexandrovka. Based on the huge concentration of forces in the region, tank special forces, artillery, the armed Russian forces will strike in both areas of strategic importance for Kiev. In Konstantinivka, Russians' task will be much easier as Chasiv Yar will soon fall, leaving Ukrainian forces caught between two Russian armies. We can see that Russian generals checkmate 3 moves. First, they took Oen-Hirantino with a rapid advance without Kiev yet knowing how. And they take Nova Alexandrovka and finally Pokrovsk Konstantinivka. Oh man, plowed that one. And Kramatorsk comes out. Here's the maps. I'm assuming the red is probably Russia. And I can't read it. I cannot translate it either. It is in Greek. I cannot read Greek. I am sorry, guys. Checkmate movement of Russian generals and Volodar Korakovo. Capturing Pokrovsk would effectively end the Donetsk affair and put Russian forces within striking distance of Kramo. Oh man, I'm just gonna say Kram. I keep plowing that word Kram. I'm just gonna say Kram, guys. Russian analysis predict a rapid collapse of Ukrainians across the Donbass. This is because Pokrovsk and Konstantinivka are the supply hubs for Ukrainian forces, and Volodar and Korakovo, while at the same time they are in the gateway to Kram and Slavyanovsk. I believe that's how you say it, Slavyanovsk. Russian analysis specifically mentioned Russian forces will enter the Kram region from south. Our strategy on this extensive stretch of front is remarkable. The capture of Ohirantino makes it possible to control key heights over the vast areas, comparable heights in this direction of Chasiv Yar, the eastern part of which was occupied by units of the Russian-Ukrainian armed forces. That is, the Ukrainian army now lacks strategically important heights, which will allow in the future to easily disperse the Ukrainian forces located in the lowlands. The Ukrainians will not be able to defend themselves. The area north of Ohirantino towards Kram and Slavyanovsk is lowland, and this is an important component in the offensive actions of the Russian army. Here we have a video. Seconds. Wow, look at that tank. It is locked up. I cannot tell if this is a Russian taking this video or if this is a Ukrainian taking this video. It says video M2A2 Bradley ODS-SAIFV at the hands of Russians in the Advitka. I'm assuming that this is this. This is 30 seconds. Yeah, these are definitely Russians. Wow, look at that tank. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting there. Just crazy, guys. Absolutely. I'll try to get in there, see if there's anybody in there. Wow. Okay. It says Ukrainian sources said that the British MI6 service had already alerted Kyiv to the Russian plan to encircle Ukrainian units in the Konstantinivka region. According to the same sources, Russian forces intend to encircle the armed forces of Ukraine in the fortified areas of Konstantinivka and Slavyansk after establishing a bridgehead by capturing the city of Pokrovsk. Russian forces are maneuvering to bypass Ukrainian defense zones approaching Slavyansk, Kram, and encircle them. The British are asking Dingle Bob, that's all I can call that guy, right here, to urgently transfer all reserves in this direction in order to stabilize the front. Well, we're not even halfway down this article, guys. This is an extremely long article. For his part, the head of the Institute of Policy Analysis and the Management of Ukraine, Ruslan Bortnik, admitted that despite all of the efforts made, the Ukrainian army is not able to stop the advancement of Russian troops in the Ohyurtino region. Russia is turning the capture of Avdiivka into a tactical crisis of the Ukrainian armed forces. He also added, the general staff has neither the forces nor the means to do so, while the Russian army has all the necessary ammunition. In the future, the Russians will be able to cut off the key communications of the Ukrainian armed forces in Donbass, which will lead to the loss of an even greater territory. Here we go. Here's another video coming from X. It says the Russian military has completely liberated the village of Berdichi, Russian Ministry of Defense.
Населенный пункт Бердычи наш.
Village of Berdichi is ours.
Слава первому батальону, черным гусарам, воинам-александрийцам. Слава России! Победа за нами! Победа будет за нами!
Wow. That's just crazy, guys. That flag. Yeah, these guys are, it's just absolutely insane what's going on right now. They are not going to stop. Here we have a map. I can't read any of that Greek. I am sorry, guys. I just cannot read Greek. All right, give me 1 second. So many articles to go through today. Wow. All right, so I already covered this on my blog. It says very hard Russian strike on Odessa, NATO weapons shipments, the headquarters of Command South, and other targets were bombed. This is regarding NATO. They had a bunch of NATO underground facilities and weapons, munitions departments, and Russia stroked that area and they decimated it. And there's a big NATO loss. I tried covering the story yesterday. It was flagged as misinformation. And here we are today talking about it again, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Here we go. It says Russian forces recapture Robotino and Eurozone Su-34s in beast mode configuration, drop tons of bombs on Ukrainian positions. Let's check this out. Damn, look at all those bombs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26 bombs in that one, just in this one picture of this plane. Who knows if that's, looks like they've released some right here and released some right here. So probably a total of 8 more, which is just absolutely insane. This was posted on the 5th, the 1st. So 5th month, 1st, so May 1st, 2358. Before I get into the article, let me just see if I'm still live here. All right, I'm still live. All right, I just want to make sure I've been going for about 30 minutes. This is my first live stream, everyone. So it says, for the first time since the start of the war in Ukraine, the Russian War Air Force has almost single-handedly recaptured the Zaporozhye I'm just going to say Zaper. I cannot pronounce that word. That's just absolutely insane. Zaper settlements of Eurozone and Rabintino, while a third, Staromask, is in imminent danger. A leading role in the Russian counteroffensive is played by the Su-25 and the Russian Su-34 bombers, which operated in a beast mode configuration, carrying out the maximum of ODAB 500 and FAB 500 bombs. Some Russian military sources say a Su-34 can carry up to 16,500 kilograms of bombs. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, man. There have been 36 airstrikes in the last 24 hours. The Russian Air Force appears to have acquired hundreds of bombs with flight correction and control kits, a game changer in the Ukrainian war. Until now, it was a point where the Russian Air Force was hurting. Let's see if the video is posted. This appears to be them loading their fighters with bombs. Oh, man. This is just crazy, guys. We could de-escalate this entire situation. Like, it would not be that hard. Russia came out, said, you guys want the shit done. You guys need to pull your troops out in 2 weeks. Everything will end. It's really not that hard. He said it nationally. He said it publicly. He's came out to his cabinet, said it. He said it during the Tucker Carlson interview. He's released information to NATO. stating like, just move your guys' tanks, move your guys' troops. Like, it's just so insane to me that like people aren't thinking about what Russia's going through. And I'm not a pro-Russian advocate. I'm an American advocate. Well, what I think about is, what if Russia put just 2 tanks on our border down near Mexico, or just 2 planes, all living hell break loose? And it's just that simple. Looks like we got some more video at night of them loading up their jets. And now here's some video of them suiting up. It looks like they're suiting up, going inside the cockpit. Russia's not a third world country, guys. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people are not understanding. They're not a third world country. They're a second world country. They've got pretty much. Says the Russian army took full control of the settlement of Ram Hotel. Is it 2 minutes? What is it? 2 minutes. Nope. Somebody pointed out the, writing out these people on it, not a strong term, but it's coincidences. I believe that, they've had months and years to do this, to load up B-52s, fly them wherever, and they're doing it just in between the times that we're going through this retaliation in Ukraine. So it said the Rombantino offensive involved mechanized units and formations of Russian airborne troops. They head to the Zaporizhzhia. That's as best as I'm going to get it, guys. Movement. We are with Russia. Vladimir Ragnar reported in the offensive of the Russian army of the Orikhovsky section of the line of the contact continues. Rombantino was captured by the Ukrainian army during its counteroffensive in the summer of 2023 at a huge cost in soldiers and equipment. In the fighting of the settlement, Ukrainian forces lost several German Leopard tanks as well as a large number of Western IFBs. We should add that the offensive actions of the Russian army in the Zaporizhzhia region continue. The next goal is to recapture Zerbovo, which came under Ukrainian control in the summer of 2023. The units of the Ukrainian forces that suffered losses retreated under artillery and aviation fire in the northern direction, namely Novodanilovka. What a name. At the same time, Ukrainian media reports that the command of the Ukrainian armed forces is preparing a counteroffensive. Here is a video of an Su-25 FAB 500 with cluster bombs against Ukrainian positions in Eurozone. Oh boy, this will be a good one. Dang, man. Wow. Oh, damn, you can actually see that plane got hit. Oh, watch it again. All right. Yeah, those planes are flying. Right here. Boom. Gets hit. Blows into a million pieces. Fall on the ground. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. Here we have, wow, we got 4 more videos to go through, guys. All right. We got this one. This one's 30 seconds. 10.2 zoom. This is just absolutely insane. 14.2 times zoom. I mean, just look at this country. It is a very beautiful country, and now it's just what, over 100 years, maybe even more, to recover from this if we don't start. Like if that's if like we stop today, which we all know is not going to happen. And I don't know who's watching this right now, but you're paying for it straight up. Like if you go to work and you work in the United States, you're paying for this. This is your tax money without a doubt. I will refute it all day long. We're spending $19.5 million every hour, $95.7 billion was passed through the House of Representatives. This is you guys' hard-earned money at work. That's just how it is. Says the Russians enter Eurozone. At the same time, Russian forces entered the settlement of Eurozone. There are reports from the region that within 24 hours, Russian troops have advanced along a front almost 4 kilometers wide in the northern direction. The depth of the advance of the Russian forces is about 800 meters. It's quite a bit. Ukrainian forces reportedly no longer control the southern part of the settlement, and their positions are under heavy artillery fire from at least 2 directions. Russian sources say that flank attacks by Russian forces have brought under control an area totaling at least 3 square kilometers. If the Ukrainians withdraw from Eurozone, they will lose their next settlement, Staromayosk. The Ukrainian army needs to transfer more reserves in this direction if it wants to stabilize the front. Here we have more video. Oh man, this article is just slamming videos tonight. It's a ODAB 500 and an FAB 500 bombs were dropped. I believe we just watched this. It might be a little different. 23 seconds. I mean, that looked like Russia's fucking playing, guys. Come on. How many times have they asked the United States for Mexican fighters? Don't send fighters. 3 weeks I have covered videos of Sweden and France. They sent troops down to Ukraine, and a total of 60 Swedish were killed. And it came out confirmed through other outlets. Sweden is denying it, but Ukraine has, there's videos that have been released showing 60 bodies of Swedish, and that's NATO, guys. Like, NATO is in Ukraine, Americans are in Ukraine. This is World War III, the very earliest starts of World War III. I don't care what anyone says. We got France, NATO, Germany, the Czech Republic, Ukraine, all involved. We got China and Taiwan doing their own thing. Like, that's all World War III has to be. Multiple different countries all converging in war. That's it. It's that simple. Here we go. Next video is 29 seconds. And look at that explosion from, I don't even know, probably 2 miles away, 3 miles away, 4 miles away. That's huge. That's a huge plume of smoke. That's just absolutely insane. And what's more insane is you guys are not seeing this information in the United States. Like, I'm advocating for this information because it's not being brought up in mainstream, except for when it's weeks later, which is just absolutely preposterous. In my opinion, mainstream media should be covering this kind of information every day. Every day we should be seeing information regarding what is going on. And it's blocked, and our constitutional rights are being infringed. You know, I can't post about this on Facebook as far as give you guys a link to my channel and go live. Like, if I were to write an article, it would be flagged. It's just absolutely insane, absolutely unconstitutional, and it's all it affects journalism as well, and journalists, and it's very sad that we cannot advocate for our rights. I mean, it's just crazy, the fact that they just don't want this information getting out. So, continuing on, says Budusov, manslaughter, and Robotyno in other directions. The Ukrainian armed forces are losing many soldiers in the defense of the useless Robotyno region. Ukraine is literally washing itself in blood, defending the territory it tried so hard to seize last year. Yuri Budusov, editor-in-chief of the Ukrainian media outlet Censor, said on his blog, "The Russian armed forces have essentially recaptured a significant part of the region for which Ukraine fought such heavy battles in the summer of 2023. More videos, hell yeah. The current situation in this direction for Kyiv is already extremely unfavorable," the editor-in-chief of Censor noted. Got more video. This one's a minute. I'll go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Just look at those explosions. This is just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is from what, 3.2 times zoom. So I don't even know how far that is away. Miles, like miles. Look how big these explosions are. Got one there. Looks like they're gonna hit them over here somewhere. This is just absolutely nuts. All right, continuing on. Oh, that looks like that is the end of this article. Let's go to the next article, everybody. Thank you so much. I also have some more articles to be covering on different news outlets. I also have Alzeera to cover, Pro News to cover, and Fox News. This is just War News 24/7. This is my preferred news outlet because the Greek are being extremely honest and informative with what's going on. They post news articles almost every hour. Finnish general and staff. Russia, we can prepare for an attack against NATO. We must be prepared. Let's read this. Guaranteed you're not going to see this over in the United States. Okay, it says Finnish general. Russia can prepare an attack against NATO. We must be prepared. Russia will continue hybrid attacks. This must be their general right here. Get rid of this. This is posted at 1:49 on the 3rd. So this was posted, I believe that was posted tomorrow. Hold on. Let's see here. Tomorrow. So we're already reading articles for tomorrow, which is just absolutely insane. It says Finland's armed forces chief said Russia would likely test NATO's mutual unity with an attack on NATO member country in the coming years, but was likely to continue hybrid attacks such as interference and election interference. Some Western leaders, including U.S. President Bingo Bob, Germany's defense minister, and Denmark's defense minister, have expressed concerns that Russia's long-term plans may include an attack on NATO. Of course, an Article 5 test is always possible, but if we take the right action and stay united, I think an attack is unlikely. General Jane Yakola told Reuters. Ooh, Reuters. Maybe I'll read you guys some articles from Reuters next. We got some good stuff. Yakola, whose job is closely to monitor what Russia is doing behind the long border it shares with Finland, said Moscow was currently too busy preparing its new spring attack on Ukraine to consider an attack on NATO. Late last year, Russian President Vladimir Putin dismissed the possibility of a NATO attack as nonsense, but the Kremlin also warned that a conflict between Russia and NATO would be inevitable if European NATO members send troops to fight in Ukraine. Let me read that again. Russia and NATO would be inevitable if European NATO members send troops to fight in Ukraine. Sweden is in Ukraine. The United States is in Ukraine. Germany is in Ukraine. The Czech are in Ukraine. That sounds like NATO is in Ukraine. To me, in my opinion, with the Swedish dying and over 60 bodies, like, what does that tell you guys? Russia will continue hybrid attacks. However, Yakola said Russia would likely continue what he called hybrid attacks against European countries in the form of GPS jamming, influence operations, and targeting its neighbors, including Finland, by sending migrants. The Kremlin routinely interfering in elections and instrumentalizing migration. He did not respond to or for a request on the comment of Estonia's allegations of GPS interference last month, but had previously denied trying to develop jamming technology. Here we got some quotations from Yakola. It says, the thing about the Russians is that they wish to cause as much discord as possible in Europe so that our unity and cohesion is weaker, Yakola said. Yakola's appointment as head of the Defense Ministry on April 1st marked the first anniversary of Finland joining the Western Military Alliance, while it joined in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Well, let me read that again for you guys. Finland joining the Western Military Alliance, NATO, which it joined in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The same people who had gone there. We have finished there. It's just absolutely insane. They've had how many years to join NATO? How many opportunities to join NATO? And they're not doing it until confrontation with Russia? Yeah. Coincidences are adding up quick. Finland, as a NATO member, also increased its military spending, reaching 2.5% of GDP in 2023 and 2.31% this year, renewing its Air Force fleet, signaling a bilateral defense cooperation agreement with the United States and doubling its munitions production by 2027. All right, guys, that is that for that article. If you guys want to give me 1 second, I will go ahead and switch the screen over to a new tab for you guys so we can start reading up on Pro News. Hello. And now I'm going to do share screen, and we are going to read some Pro News. Here you guys go. Make sure that's coming up right. All right, that's coming up, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I have seen several people creeping up in my stream. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to my first live stream. I really appreciate everyone being here. Get this damn ad out of here. Fucking Google. All right, so we got a bunch to go through over here. Way more than I was anticipating. So it says, unprecedented incident in Chimonos. They went to bury a dead man and discovered that he was killed by a gun. This was on the 2nd. The cause of death is being investigated. And we also have WHO who destroyed and wiped out ancient Sparta, unknown story, Kremlin, pointless peace meeting in Switzerland since we have not been invited. Oh, that sounds good. Estonia, Ukraine needs all of NATO's missile production every year. The war continues. Ooh, that's fucking bad. That's juicy bad. All right, so we got all of these articles here. So we got Russian Foreign Minister when he hears about a possible sending of NATO forces to Ukraine by Macron. I'm definitely going to read that. Investigation into misappropriation of funds by the Ministry of Migration through direct assignments to consultancy firms. Tempe, lawsuit by 170 citizens against K. Mitsotakis as investigator of the cover-up. I have no idea what that's pertaining to. Maybe I'll read it. Unprecedented incident in... this is where I just read you as a headline. I'm not even going to read that about the moon. I don't believe in that crap. All right. Russian Foreign Minister S. Lavrov laughs when he hears about the possibility of sending NATO forces to Ukraine by E. Macron. And there's a video. He seems to burst into loud and ironic laughter, ignoring the question about the French president's statements. Oh man, that guy does not look like someone I would fuck with. That's for sure. So it says Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov reacted in an unexpected way, laughing loudly and ironically when asked about French President Emmanuel Macron's comment about the possibility of sending of Western forces to Ukraine. I believe that this is the video right here. One of these videos. Okay, it's definitely not this one. Let's see if it's this one. Come on, Papa Murphy's. It's one of these videos. Hold on, guys. Get this going for you. Right here. We will play this, and then we will get into what I cannot read any of that, guys. I cannot speak Russian. I'm assuming that this is just an overview of all of the articles that are on today. Sorry, guys. The video must be down here. It says, earlier Macron said sending ground troops to Ukraine was out of the question if Moscow tried to break through the front lines and if Kyiv asked for it. This is the second time Macron has directly threatened the Kremlin. In an interview, the Economist, Macron argued, if the Russians try to cross the front lines and if there is a Russian aggress, we should think about sending forces. He added that ruling out such a possibility in advance shows a failure to learn from the past 2 years. Initially, NATO had ruled out sending tanks and aircraft to Ukraine before changing its mind. Macron had been sending the focus of criticism from European leaders, stressing that sending Western troops to Ukraine should not be ruled out. He also stressed his desire to redress the strategic ambiguity in the European response to the war in Ukraine by seeking a revival. Most European countries and the United States have distanced themselves from Macron's proposal. Oh, here it is. Here is the video right here. I am glad it is down here. Russian FM Lavrov was asked his thoughts on Macron saying he may send troops to Ukraine. He laughed and ignored it. All right, let's check it out.
Mr. Lavrov, what do you want to say about Macron's recent remarks on sending troops to Ukraine?
You see that
Mr.
smile on his
Lavrov,
face?
what do you want to say about Macron's recent remarks on sending troops to Ukraine?
Look at that smile. Look at that smirk-ass fucking smile on his face. God. Obviously, he thinks it's a joke. And he turns that guy. Look at this guy. He's laughing so hard his crow's feet showing. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I can't zoom in. That guy's laughing so... all these people just think it's a joke. Oh, boy. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that's a joke. Macron says he doesn't rule out sending French troops to Ukraine if Russia manages to break through the front lines again. This is coming from X. All right, guys, I'm going to go back up. We will find out what else we can go through on Pro News. Make sure everything's still going well over here. I have been live for about 47 minutes so far. I'm going to share this. I forgot to share this out to one person. Give me 1 minute. All right, guys, this is good times over here. And these ads popping up like crazy over here on this website. All right, so what else we got going on today? Golden Dawn leader Nikos Mitsotakis is released. JP Morgan, the BRICS in 2024 will become a global power. The United States will experience a crisis like the one in 1973. Okay, that is very interesting. The details of 8 arrested from Georgia, Albania, and Uzbekistan are released. Greek mafia. Mysterious aircraft in size C-130 spotted in Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. Ooh, let's do that. That was posted at 6:38, about 2 hours ago. That was an extremely weird aircraft. I don't think I've seen anything that looks like that. Almost reminds me of a Black Hawk. The mysterious C-130 size aircraft has been spotted at Eglin Air Base, Florida, prompting many questions to its origin and purpose. The aircraft has not been yet identified and does not resemble any known American aerial platform. There is intense speculation that this is a new experimental American aircraft from the involvement from the University of Miami. Watch, they're going to send it to Ukraine.
Ένα μυστηριώδες αεροσκάφος σε μέγεθος C-130 εντοπίστηκε στη βάση Έγκλιν της Φλόριντα των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών, προκαλώντας πολλά ερωτήματα ως προς την προέλευσή του και το σκοπό του. Το αεροσκάφος ακόμα δεν έχει ταυτοποιηθεί.
Check this out. So, I don't know about you guys, but those look like dudes to me. That's just me personally. That's exactly what they look like. It would not surprise me with them recently talking about sending Ukraine. Sorry about that. Direct energy weapons up to 70% finished. Wow, there's another photo. Wow, look at that. What do you guys think that could be? You guys think those are the engines? They definitely look like turbines. Zoom in, get a closer look. They definitely look like turbines. Where's the cockpit? This kind of looks like the cockpit right here. Maybe over there. I'm bringing air in this way. So maybe this is the cockpit, actually. Cockpit right here, glass. Turbines bringing air in, coming in through this way. That's what I'm assuming. This straight up looks like a UFO to me. This is absolutely crazy design. See if they got any more pictures for us. Oh, here we go. The silent and efficient supersonic bidirectional flywing. The GCZHA-1. Here is the Model 1. Here's a 90-degree angle of this model. It says revolutionary concept for supersonic flight. Symmetric and both longitudinal and span axis flying wing rotate 90 degrees between supersonic and subsonic, removing aerodynamic conflict between low speeds and high speeds. Slender supersonic configuration naturally translates to high subsonic aspect ratio, high performance at both subsonic and supersonic speeds. Preliminary business jet configuration M equals 1.6-2.0 achieves high longitude dash distance is what I'm assuming that makes. With high aerodynamic efficiency, remove sonic boom due to smooth ground over pressure signature, no wave. As you guys can see here, I can't see this bottom picture, but here we go. It's giving us some math, probably some distance details. No boom wave. That's usually where planes are booming, I'm assuming. See if they got anything else for us. All right, that's it. All right, moving on to the next part. We got some photos right here from some people. Go ahead and pull this up for you guys. I can't. Oh, I can't pull up. Can I open this right here? Open image and tab, magnify image. There we go. This is the same one I just looked at, but I can zoom in and see this now. Angle of attack. Dang, that thing can straight just bend like that. This is crazy. Oh, it says proposed tasks. Oops. Magnify image. Design refinement with CFD. Mission analysis. Wind tunnel testing verification. Okay, so that is the cockpit right there. Looks like, almost looks like those turbines are on the opposite side now. This looks like nothing other than a UFO, in my opinion. It's just absolutely insane that they are now releasing that technology for military purposes. It's just crazy. Let's see if I can magnify this one. Here is a generated image of what they are assuming it looks like in flight. Cockpit, turbines, exhaust. I'm assuming that is for aviation purposes, probably help with maneuverability. Reported by Time Magazine on 8/14 of 2012 as one of the 10 most fantastic projects that NASA hopes will be inspiring people long after Curiosity has finished exploring Mars. That is out there. That's out there. So we're talking 12 years ago, NASA was stating that they were hoping that this would be out. For Mars and exploration, and here we are talking about it being used in war. Another image. So it looks like there's two different variants. So this one has like, I don't know what you call them, the wing drafts. That's what I'm going to call them. You know, the flaps to help with aviation. It also has this here. And it also has these points for the wings. If we go over to this one, it does not have that. So this is telling me there's two different models of this being developed right now. And it looks like this one has bigger motors, focusing on the center of the plane. And this one has smaller motors. Oh, my page is freaking out. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it started doing that. Okay, let's see. Oh, I already showed you guys that video. The mysterious platform spotted near Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, almost the size of a C-130. We got some more. Ooh, that's a really good picture, actually. It's probably the best one yet. You can barely make out the turbine there. Unidentified aircraft spotted near Eglin Air Force Base in the western Florida Panhandle. The aircraft has still not been identified. It doesn't match any known U.S. platform. So I wonder if you could go on to there's a website you can go and you can track every aviation plane, every aviation like helicopter, and follow their flight paths and trajectories. I wonder if this is on there. Probably not, but maybe I'll do a little bit of research, and if I find any information pertaining to that, I will post about it. This one has a little bit of the contrail leaving right here. You guys can see that. It's pretty cool. I'm assuming these things are incredibly fast. All right, so this is done. On to the next article, guys. Let's go here and see what they got for main issues today. Okay, so we covered this. I have not covered this yet, or this, or this. I'm not reading anything about the moon. All right, let's read what the BRICS nation has to say about 2024 and the United States experiencing a crisis like the one of 1973. I don't know exactly what they're referring to, but let's find out. So it says, therefore, the direction of the tide could change. This was posted today at 8:01, so just about 30 minutes ago. It says JP Morgan predicts that the United States will face a crisis of similar intensity as that of 1973, while the BRICS economic alliance is establishing itself in 2024 as a global power, and worries that U.S. giant about advancing its agenda of de-dollarization. That is super bad. Why is it bad? Because everything we are doing is backed by the United States dollar. Everything. Our gas, all of our diplomatic ties, it's all backed by the United States dollar. Once you get rid of the United States dollar, we're in for a real shit show, to say the least. So it says, therefore, the direction of the tide could change, with JP Morgan expecting the consequences to be painful. No, get out of here with that crap. The bank's chief, Jamie Dimon, spoke to the Wall Street Journal about the course of the United States economy. I wonder how long this is. A minute. All right, let's check this out.
Οι πολιτείες θα αντιμετωπίσουν παρόμοιας έντασης κρίση όπως αυτή του 1973, ενώ η Οικονομική Συμμαχία των BRICS καθιερώνεται το 2024 ως παγκόσμια δύναμη και ανησυχεί τον Αμερικανικό κολοσσό για την προώθηση της. Jamie Dimon μίλησε στη Wall Street Journal για την πορεία της αμερικανικής οικονομίας.
Greek. I cannot speak Greek. So it says the significant, somewhat unprecedented trend makes remain cautious. JP Morgan CEO Diamond said, adding America's global leadership is being challenged by developing countries such as the SCO bloc, Asian Group, and BRICS. While the BRICS and other countries try to uproot the dollar, America's polarized electorate is causing further division. Free Western corporations are in crisis. Furthermore, the head of JP Morgan hinted that the BRICS will not be the only alliance to launch the agenda of the de-dollarization. 176 countries have signed for the de-dollarization. Just so you guys know, you guys can go look it up. It's on the internet. They've already confirmed they're trying to de-dollarize. It's going to happen. Probably within the next 5 years, maybe 10 if we're lucky. He urged that the United States put aside all differences and work closely with the developing countries. We must find a way to put aside our differences and work in cooperation with other Western nations in the name of democracy. During this time of great crisis, trying to protect our basic freedoms, including free enterprise, is of paramount importance, he wrote. In any case, JP Morgan takes seriously the BRICS de-dollarization agenda and warns that it may affect U.S. markets. In his letter to JP Morgan shareholders, he wrote that the United States' dependence on China for its own national security is the most critical aspect of the problem. The United States cannot rely on potential adversaries for materials necessary for its national security. Think rare earths, 5G, semiconductors, penicillin, and materials vital for essential pharmaceuticals. We cannot share vital technologies that can enhance an adversary's military capabilities. They, on the other hand, need oil and gas, he said. Right here, guys. They need oil and gas. That's literally what they're probably going to try and cut us off first. Given some geopolitical alliances, Diamond said it's hard for us and China to have an excellent relationship right now. Last week, NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg told China that it wants to have relations with the West and must stop supporting Russia in its war with Ukraine. As he pointed out during his visit to Beijing, China is helping to support the Russian economy by sharing technology. According to Reuters, Stoltenberg said Russia imported 90% of its microelectronics needed for missiles, tanks, and aircraft from China. Beijing also assisted Russia with improving satellite imaging and capabilities. China says it wants good relations with the West. At the same time, Beijing continues to fuel the biggest armed conflict in Europe since World War II. They can't have their cake and eat it, Stoltenberg said. Diamond echoes this sentiment, saying, as long as Ukraine is experiencing what they are experiencing, and they are doing everything to help and support Russia, I think it's very difficult to develop a great relationship with them. I'm glad that the government has the will to do certain things. If in fact some of these things come true, then yes, they should impose some sanctions, but they will have to wait for the right time. This week, the Washington State Journal reported, citing people familiar with the matter, that the U.S. is working on sanctions to cut off some Chinese banks from the global financial system in an effort to curb China's relationship with Russia. The situation is like the 70s, and then things looked pretty rosy in 1972. They weren't rosy in 1973. Diamond reminded everyone the recession experienced by the United States at the time. An oil crisis, inflation soaring, there was an economic crisis, stagflation. However, this time, Diamond sees several factors that require markets to remain cautious. Huge financial deficiencies, upward pressure on prices, and declining growth are red flags. The deficit is 6% of GDP, almost $2 million. Oh, wow. This is just absolutely insane, everybody. Well, everyone, I have been streaming for an hour and 4 minutes. I am going to go ahead and call it a night. The streaming, I've been streaming for 1 hour. I really appreciate everybody who has come out, listened to the live stream, liked the video, share the video. I really appreciate all the support as I try and help spread the freedom of information and help preserve our constitutional rights that we are given. Thank you guys so much for coming out. And as always, stay safe, stay informed. Catch you in the next one.